내가 카운터 찾았다.
밥 먹어야지 뿌기야. 당신의 패배를 인정하시죠?
저 개빨라 그냥 미친 챔프야 이거.
5킬 내기다 5킬 내기. 이러지 마요. 6킬 내기야 6킬 내기.
벌써 뭐야 이게?
이제 퇴장하겠습니다.
형 마지막. 잘 가.
잘 가.
세트대 몰배는 참고로 좀 천천히 가야 된다. 정글이 1대1이 별로라. 우리 탑갱 볼게.
나 이거
수 있고.
잘마다.
잡은 것 같아.
나이스. 천천히 하면 이거 정글 캐리가. 오케이.
나이스.
나 한번 가볼게.
탑 마테리아. 나이스.
잘만한데?
됐고. 맞다. 아주 가자.
정원도 빨리.
뺄게.
용 쪽으로 보는 거야. 1분 40초. 그 전에 미리 정비하는 거 잊지 말고. 이만에 걸게.
밀렸다 이거.
야 왼쪽 다개피.
나게피.
나이스. 왼쪽 좋아.
이게 좋아.
아래 좋아. 쓰레쉬 높여.
상대 볼배 성장 밀리고 있고 나보다. 캐리 가능. 내가 걸각 볼게.
상놈이 포지션 거기 잡아.
내가 걸각 볼게. 기다려.
이거 거는 거야.
이번에 걸게.
걸자 이번에. 애쉬 못 박았어. 애쉬 포커싱 좀. 애쉬 포커싱 좀.
이거. 나이스 겠다.
탑으로 가자. 탑텔 타라 이거. 탑텔 타라.
가자. 이게 나야.
여롱로.
여랑라.
그게 너야. 나이스.
그게 너야.
나 상우보다 어시가 많아 그냥. 아 재미없어. 나 끝낼래. 재미없어.
아비. 이 볼만했는데.
이제.
나이스.
저 그냥 캐틀 할게요. 캐틀 할게요.
나 캐틀도 괜찮다 생각해.
집중해서 깔끔하게 이병합시다.
와우.
나이스.
자, 형 좀만 때려줘.
나이스.
일단 트레이스 잡고. 나르 노플.
나르 스턴.
아이고.
여기 키아나.
뒤에 키아나.
키아 높을.
잡았어. 잡았다.
나이스.
펜타.
봐줄게, 봐줄게.
펜타 먹어라. 펜타. 야, 펜타.
제발.
됐다 이거.
잡았다고 해. 여기까지.
경호야 왜 안 넘어가?
아, 미안.
나 궁대거든? 누가라?
내가 한번 봐줄게.
누가 때려. 죽어.
W.
나이스. 누가라 고맙다. 아, 경호 형은 진짜 나쁜 사람이네.
야, 거리가 안 됐어, 아람아.
플래시로 가서 시야 밝혀가지고 딱 잡아. 나 20킬 찍고 싶은데? 1킬만 더
타워
하게
깨고
줘.
1킬 더하게 해주던지.
1킬 더 하게 줘.
애쉬 4초. 타워 때려! 제발! 타워 때려! 지금 타워맨 있다, 이거. 난 타워밖에. 나이스!
팀이 아니라 플레이팀. 플레이팀.
자, 이렇게 해서 탑 정글 미드 원딜 서포터 모든 포지션의 영입이 끝이 났습니다. 새로운 미션을 여러분들에게 전달해 드리도록 하겠습니다.
나 힐 있어. 빼볼래? 좋아! 뚝배기! 나 잡을게 이거. 공석이 야, 이거 한번 찔러.
약간 유리하게 시작해야지.
컨디션 괜찮나 지금?
볼배 그냥 라인 밀어도 되는데 볼배 그냥 올라와가지고
원래 그냥 서로 집단 그거에서
텔 타고 이름 못 보니까 쓰레시한테 좀 농락을 당했어.
와 이거 완전 오너.
바텀 라인 이번에 들어가거든? 우리 이번에 바텀 이거
까비.
리그 오브 레전드의 새로운 전설.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK Summer 2020, where we have Genji slaughtering Afrika completely in game number 1 on the back of their extraordinarily fed Senna. She had all the items that she would ever want, all of the stacks that she would ever want, and just steamrolled that game. So let's see whether, Afrika have an answer for it in game number 2. Do you know what I'm expecting, Valdez?
What?
I'm expecting Ruler to pick Ashe and hard carry on that too. That's what I'm expecting.
Probably, I would imagine. Yeah, it just looked like they got shut down really early by the set, and then Ruler was right there to pick up the kills, and it's just snowballed out of control. And I wouldn't mind even a set ban on blue, or maybe trying to pick that up yourself, or if you're thinking about taking the Volibear first, definitely go for a set ban. You struggled a lot with it in game number 1. Just get rid of it, right? That's why you have the bans. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I would expect game 2 to go very similarly in terms of the Genji domination. But I'm just, as you're mentioning, I'm just wondering in what way are they going to pull it off?
Yeah, and I don't know whether the Renekton priority is going to continue as high as it was. It showed that, Kane did have a decent answer to it, as Ruler is obviously going to pick up player of the game. BDD, unfortunately, unable to secure his POG position in confirmed first place. Still slightly up in the air based on what Showmaking can do in our second series of the day. But yeah, the snipes were good, and his lane control was just amazing. Remember, guys, make sure you're not in the shop when you're backing. Make sure that you have every opportunity to land cross-map kills.
Yep. You could also be as good as Ruler. I love this play where he's just like, yeah, I don't care about your damage. I don't respect you at all. I'm just going to walk up and flash away, kill him down. He's just running through the enemy base alone here. He's like, he just doesn't care. He had such a confident game with the lead, which is exactly what you need when you do have that lead. So, gotta hand it to them. 6 out of 9 was the votes. I'm surprised that 3 other people did vote, but it was for Sen, so that makes sense. Right? It was the bottom lane carry, and that's exactly.
And I mean, that's what we're actually. That's what we were talking about earlier. Was that I think it was between Ruler and Life as to who picks it up, and I'm glad that Life got a few of those votes. But I think the way Ruler carried the center into the later stage of the game as well was very, very powerful. So definitely well deserved. Chovy was indeed robbed. For those of you who are worried. But you can understand exactly why Ruler picked that one up. So very, very good game from him, as we are going to have a substitution. So Spirit is going to be taking a bit of a rest, and Dread is going to be coming in once again. He hasn't found a win recently, and was subbed out pretty immediately after he came in the first game the last time we saw these guys up against KT. Ben is also getting replaced with Jelly. So, I don't know, maybe Mystic was a bit upset about how that game went.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Which you obviously would be.
Yeah.
We're not going to see him subbed, though, because I don't know whether he has anyone sitting behind him at the moment, or no one notable that is actually going to be stepping in instead. So he'll retain his spot. And let's see whether this big change of roster is going to help Afrika look better in game number 2.
I'm not sure about the jungle, I don't feel like Spirit was really the issue, right? I'm not sure why they want to swap him out. Maybe they just want a much more aggressive type of jungler in Dread. That would be my only guess, but other than that, I thought Spirit was okay in game number 1. I understand the sub out and putting Jelly in. I mean, he looked good the last time he played here as well. So, yeah, I do like the switch-ups after getting crushed. That is for sure. I think that's always a good idea.
I mean, changing anything can often be a good idea to like sort of switch the mindset, no matter what happens. So you can understand why they decided to go for that one. I'm interested to see whether it'll actually mean anything, because I don't know whether it necessarily will. I think Clit has been playing very aggressively in the jungle, so putting in a more aggressive jungler doesn't necessarily do too much. But let's see what changes in the draft here, as we see Azir going to be banned away first by Afrika once again. And I assume Lilia is still going to be a bit of a focus here for Genji.
Well, they're going to start off with the Caitlyn, and we'll see if Set does get banned here by Afrika at the same time, or if they do just go for the same ban. So far, we're 2 for 2, with the Akali coming out here from Afrika. Karma going to be taken off the board here, even after the nerfs. She's still strong. Turns out some skill sets are just too strong, right? So even if you nerf, they are going to stick around in pro play as no set ban. They're just going to go ahead and ban TF once again. Same bans here on blue set.
Yeah, could be the set being banned away here by Genji, because you could expect Afrika to potentially first pick that one, unless they also want to go for a first pick Renekton. But Nautilus is going to be taken away from Jelly this time.
Yeah. Early ban on the Nautilus, and it's going to leave some stuff open. We'll see if Afrika wants to take Volibear here. I think that might be a little bit scary. This is what I was talking about. If you want to go ahead and pick Volibear, the most common counter that we see is the set, which also can be flexed a lot, so it's a great response. As down to the wire here, they are going to go for set themselves, so they are trying to be one step ahead and say, well, you can pick Volibear now, we don't care, as we have the set.
Yeah, I think this is really smart. Clit's going to try his hand potentially at the Lilia, as we see the slight switch over to Renekton, as Rascal is just desperate to pick the champion. Looks like that is where he's going to land. No surprises there. As we'll see whether Clit's just going to insta-lock Nidalee alongside it, or whether it is going to be the Lilia who will be taken into the set. I do like Lilia into set if it is a jungle matchup, because Lilia just farms so much faster. You can almost guarantee that you can steal away Raptor camps, things like that. But it looks like Genji don't want to pass up the Renekton Nidalee combo, as Afrika will probably once again go for whichever counter to the Renekton that they feel like going with. You mentioned something like the Jace, but the Lilia is going to be switched over to. And I don't mind this at all. Let's see whether Clit's tidied up the play, since he was practicing in solo queue.
Yeah, and if Genji continue with their run here in the series, we might see an 8-0 Lilia going into, well, not playoffs just yet, but going into, you know, the end of the season, which could be pretty insane to have a champion be that successful. Hecarim comes in. Okay, we're mixing it up.
They've taken a bit of a leaf out of the LEC book, as we did see the Hecarim picked into the Lilia last night. Another champion that can farm extraordinarily effectively, and another champion with 4 legs. So you can understand exactly why they went for it.
Makes sense. You got to match the amount of legs.
Yeah, dude, that's what you got to do. It's all about the amount of legs. Currently, we have 8 legs locked in over the side of Afrika. We'll see whether Genji are going to follow up with 8 legs also locked in. Yes, looks like that is going to be the case.
Great.
Wait, does Renekton have 4 legs? Or because he actually walks on his hind legs, are his front legs considered arms?
Doesn't Hecarim have 6 legs because he has 4 legs and then 2 arms?
No. He has 4 legs and 2 arms.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I kind of figured that one out myself.
I mean, otherwise Lilia would be the same thing. Are you saying that she has 6 legs? Are they actually both just ants?
Wow.
I'm not entirely sure. I'm very confused now.
Ooh, look at this.
Technically, horses have been insects this entire time, and we never knew. As the bird is going to be banned, I imagine Quinn and Jace could be taken off the board here.
Probably, yeah. That seems to be the case. Would they consider taking away another 80 carry? That's another option you could try to go for, as we haven't had one picked just yet for Afrika. If you wanted to deny Ashe, now would be a time to go for it. But I wouldn't mind a Jace ban either, if you're trying to shut down the top side. But again, you have a couple of champions that can be flexed top on top of that. But it is going to be the Ashe after all.
Yep, don't mind this. Means that the Ezreal's been picked and the Caitlyn and Ashe are going to be banned away. You'd expect something like a Jhin to then come through for Mystic if we're going down the tier list. I don't look at Mystic as necessarily a Jhin player. We'll see what he's going to be able to do, though. There's now Ruler to make the decision. Could be just a support pick up here to allow BDD to counterpick, but there is already the Orianna. So you could expect a mid lane just to be locked away, as Echo is the consideration here for BDD.
Trying to get aggressive in the mid lane, it looks like. Just going to try to pounce onto that Orianna. And Callista going to be taken. It's not into one of these oppressive long-range carries in the bottom side, such as an Ashe or a Caitlyn, which have really changed up the AD carry meta. So he's able to go back into the Callista and maybe now a Lucian for the top side.
This is so aggressive out of Afrika. Gnar is another option into Renekton. We've seen this one over and over again. He's going to take the Exo approach. So it will be Gnar into Renekton and allow a little bit more beefiness into this squad. Feels like there is just going to be 3 burly boys and then Callista and Orianna chilling out, trying to do the damage in the backline as Gen G looking for a support here for the bottom lane. And it will be Set Callista that they're up against. And so they know those cards face up. Alistair being hovered here. And that will be locked in. Okay.
Yeah.
See how the cow's going to do.
We don't see him very often, but he's actually really great at denying engage, right? If the horse tries to charge in, you can try to be one step ahead, headbutt him away. If the set tries to charge at you, you can try to headbutt him away. There are definitely many ways to do it, but the timing has to be really good, right? Because if the ult from Hecarim comes in, you can't stop that. If Set, of course, uses his ult onto the Alistair, that can also be an interesting idea. It's part of the reason why we see the Set into the Volibear, who's charging directly at you, just to throw the engage back into the enemy team. So I think Life is going to have to be really on the ball on to that champion. I think it's going to be pretty good in the laning phase as well to deny some of the shenanigans that Set can do that we even saw in game number 1.
Yeah, I actually quite like Afrika's composition here, but there are certainly some uses for the Alistair. I feel like the laning phase could be tough here for Gen G. But Hecarim versus Lilia, we saw this go in favor of the horse gentleman overseas. But here in the LCK, Lilia doesn't lose. So we'll see whether Clit is going to be able to continue down that path and whether the Lilia Renekton ganks are going to be as impactful as the Renekton Nidalee ganks that we see so incredibly often.
Yeah, curious to see if they can redeem themselves. That was not a very flashy game number 1 from the Afrika bottom side and the Afrika team in general.
Was definitely one worth forgetting, as Afrika are hopefully into this one with a fresh mindset. Absolutely. As BDD making his way towards the lane. Looking like no early shenanigans to come out. As it's interesting. Hecarim and Lilia, I mean, they're both, 4-legged, 2-armed. And they also both have spinny moves on their queue.
That's true.
Similar champions.
You're right on the money there, Atlas.
Yeah, not as many skill shots for the good old Hecarim, apart from, I guess, his ultimate.
I suppose so. Well, now we're dancing. Will we have...
It's just, hopping around. Bambi having a good time. As, what good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Watch Out Eep is just so hard to talk about in a team fight, whereas you see the skill come out and you just, bang! Perfect. Oh, absolutely fantastic. As I imagine that we've probably infected the chat with about 1 million IARs at the moment. That's fine.
So.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. One of those things that happens. I'm going to check out the runes here for both Dread and Clid. Both of them looking pretty similar. As Phase Rush is pretty good when you want to be dancing around these fights, and both of these champions certainly want to be doing that.
Yeah, that is very true. Curious to see how Rascal will do up in the top side. Struggled a little bit against the Quinn, and Gnar can be pretty oppressive himself. So definitely want to keep my eyes on the Renekton this time around and see if, you know, does it really deserve that much priority to be picked first every single time by Rascal in both games. I want to see, as here comes BDD.
Yeah. Down to 200, but Fly down to 100. So feeling a little bit better here for the Echo, going for some early trades. He's taken Electrocute in this lane as well, wanting for a little bit more of that dominance. His team gets that wave shoved into him. Currently 1-0 on the Gnar. Not bad at all. Oh my goodness, Time Winder is going to miss, and that could mean BDD's in trouble, but does get a level up in a pretty good time.
Yeah, looks like Fly went Biscuits, and BDD did not, from what I could tell. Went for Dematerializer, and he's going to miss the cannon. That's kind of unfortunate. Taking a lot of trades early, and now he's even... Okay, he was thinking about backing, but... You can see he's a little bit scared about the Hecarim ganks, because as melee up against the Orianna, even with the flash, if Hecarim comes in super fast, you're dead. So he's just going to have to back and have a really awkward start to this lane.
Yep, the updated phase rush definitely helping the Hecarim out a lot. Just likes movement speed, and therefore you get a lot of it. You pop Ghost with Nimbus Cloak, and you manage to get a phase rush proc. You're getting like legit bonus damage out of your passive, which is pretty dang cool. As Fly already with that cleanse on cooldown, so that could be a good moment here for Gen G. As we do have an equalization of CS, but it looks like most of these minions are going to go over to the Orianna, so should still remain in the lead. As BDD's coming in for a gank, Parallel Convergence is armed, and there's that flash headbutt pole. Mystic gonna flash out of the way, but Parallel Convergence is right there, and first blood goes to BDD. That's Haymaker Flash out of Jelly. Is that going to be enough to keep him alive is going to be the question, as Ruler wants it. He's right underneath this turret, and BDD, I believe he'll die. Yeah, he will. Set's going to grab that kill, but at least they managed to get one for Ruler.
Yeah, nice setup there. I'm surprised that there wasn't really much communication from the mid side. Fly just going ahead and pushing it in, as of course he does not have TP, would not try to get down there, but the fast recall into the bottom side gank, pretty interesting from BDD, how he was able to set that up. So a nice start once again, and Mystic and Jelly this time around. You can see they're going to miss a lot of CS there, although it was a cannon wave, so not as much as maybe you would normally expect. BDD lines this one up. It's a very long bottom lane, so pretty difficult for them to get away from how far they were down the lane. Good wave control.
I don't think they needed to go for this dive.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
That's all right.
He just wanted to get back faster. You know, that stage of the game, level 4, you're not too worried about it. As Parallel Convergence once again here. Is Fly going to avoid the stun. Time Winder also not going to do too much as Dread. Look, he's booking it over onto the Echo right here. He does still have his flash available, and the rest of Gen G coming in. Cavalry has arrived as Jelly looks for the face breaker. Only finds life with it, as that's a good pulverize. And the headbutt back, no time to make any hay whatsoever, as BDD thinking about flashing and is eventually going to do it. Probably didn't need to, but he was aggressive, and now he's going to be taken down, immediately punished, as both of these four-legged creatures are cantering around this mid lane. But in the end, it's going to be relatively even, I believe. Gen G coming out a little bit on top.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to be happy with that one. Just getting a couple of kills, as we got a trade down here on the bottom side.
Yeah, Mystic is going to throw out the heal. Ruler has already put his down, and the 1v1 is going to elicit the Crab Raid. And Ruler's going to be able to take it. Not sure what Mystic was expecting there, but maybe thinking that he had a little bit more of an item advantage than he really did.
He missed his Q, right? That was, I think if he hits the Q, he probably wins the trade, but then after that missed, he's just like, he's like, okay, well, I guess...
I guess we're done.
I guess this is the way this day is going to go. Oh, man, that's got to be a morale crusher, as he kind of, you know, he was in a pretty good spot to take that trade. It just kind of went haywire when he did miss that Q. But here's the trade in the mid lane. You can see that BDD was waiting, saving his flash for the exact right moment. And Fly has no mana, so he's not doing any damage, really. He's got some autos, finally gets some mana back. But Jelly goes a little bit too far forward, and life being there means that they're able to turn that one around. Over the wall comes BDD, and he stays for a little bit too long, so Dread is able to pick up that kill. As now we got to dive up in the top side.
Yep, Rascal looking for it as he gets out of the way of the Nard. It's going to be the Lilia not being so lucky as Ibang comes out, but it's going to take him to the grave. It's 1-for-1 in the end.
Ay. Well, this is...
Ay.
Yeah, ay. And, yeah, just nice plays by Dread, actually. He's in the right place at the right time many times in a row. And he's able to scoop up another kill.
밀어줘.
As we're going to take a listen now into the bottom side. Let's hear what Ruler has to say.
이러고 저기 설마 안 빼? 나 가고 있어.
페카님 피 없어.
일단 대놓고 가기만 할게.
바텀 1대1.
이거
Oh,
혼자 한다.
bottom 1v1.
오.
집 갈게.
나이스.
우리
페카님 윗동을
덕분.
먹으러 간 듯?
Oh. Life's almost dead.
Yeah.
As okay, the Swirl Seed is going to connect. Ulti comes down. And Mystic, that is not the time for a rest, my friend. 0-3-1 now. As BDD, he's found Dread in the jungle, but yeah, probably doesn't want to fight the Steed at this point in time.
Yeah, well, this is not the day for Mystic, man. He's 0-3 now, and you can tell he's pretty angry about it. Tried to take that aggressive trade and kind of drop the ball.
Yeah.
And, you know, it can't really get much worse for him down there in the bottom side, getting Lilia'd, essentially, by the lilting lullaby that comes in. So we got a couple of fed horsey jungles. And, well, you've also got this massive Ezreal on top of that.
Yeah, almost Trinity Force done for the Hecarim as well. So we're going to have a look at this top trade once again. Rascal avoiding the Gnar was actually pretty cool, to be honest. As Cleared got close to surviving, but Dread had full health the whole time, so not a chance.
Here's this bottom lane play. So actually the True Shot Barrage missed. You can see Life is immediately running away after that, as they don't quite have the damage to continue, and Mystic wasn't really able to aggressively hop forward, and then, well, this has got to be the most tilting thing in the world to have the bowling ball come out of the river after you took a good trade just to lose your life right away. It's sad times. Here we go again.
Yep, Flash Phase Breaker comes in. Dread coming on down as well. That's a three-man pulverize, though, as Fate's Call has to come out, and Life is still here. The Onslaught of Shadows does absolutely nothing as Ruler will say goodbye to the horse, and now Mystic chasing after him. He's going for it once again. That's a good flash, and that time he will be able to take him down. But Rascal's here, and he tidies up with a quick slice and a dice. But at least Mystic gets his first kill of the series.
At least he got a kill, but that's the only good thing that happened. And he also had to flash to pick it up, as once again it's only sadness down in the bottom side. Quick swipe, quick flick of the wrist for Mr. Renekton, and now he's just going to stay bottom side and they'll rotate. They're fine to do this. Gen G are so far ahead from this point in time, and we don't see Alistair very often, but this is something he's really good at, right? Just ulting, and
my God.
The three-man knockup is so huge. Keeps Ruler alive as the horsey eats a True Shot Barrage to the face, and then a Freak have nowhere to run, so they have to go in.
In the meantime, BDD, he's ulting back, going to get out of that showstopper. Parallel Convergence will give him a bit of a shield here as Dread's looking for the Rift Herald. Clid's over here as well. He's going to Swirl Seed the Renekton, and he's going to go to sleep. This is not the time for a nap, laddie. As Ruler comes on over, that's going to be another kill for the Ezreal. There's the Pulverize. Hop out from Keen, but they have to get away from the objective now as Mystic is getting eaten by a crocodile. Conqueror comes down, but is going to turn it and gets the slow from the Rend. However, it doesn't matter, guys. Gen G still just taking everything they want on this map.
Yeah, and I thought Mystic was just gonna be chased down there once again, but the heal comes out from Mystic. He can't catch a break. Jelly's down here. Maybe they could turn this into something, but no. Renekton Rascal here is going to smartly back away. And Gen G, I mean, they've also got the Rift Herald on top of everything, so dominating the 1v2 up here in the top side. They'll probably look to drop that down when Clid does go.
Speaking of Clid, over there in the enemy jungle, and positioned around this top outer turret, as with 11 minutes to go, there are a whole bunch of plates that Ruler can now eat up. Squid going to be going back. Plate's still being taken on the bottom side as well for Afrika, so there is that going their way. Not to mention Mystic having some decent farm at the moment. Rascal does find the stun, and oh my god, 1 versus 2. Rascal's going to pick it up. There's the Cull the Meek. He's looking for another slice and or dice. But he'll take the 1 kill in a 1 versus 2 any day of the week. This is the big crocodile. This is the Godzilla that we've been scared about all week.
He killed Mystic again. Oh man, this is the most bullied player I've seen in a while. Mystic is just not having a fun day today. And he really just can't catch a break.
Currently 1-13-1 for the series.
Yeah. I like throwing up the Genji sign and the Blitzcrank, the confused Blitzcrank.
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? Well,
but I mean, this is by design from Gen G, right? Like, they are definitely focusing on the bottom lane, making it as irrelevant as possible. And it's working out so far. It's just not great for Mystic's mental. We've all been there, guys. We've all been there. It's just one of those days, you know?
This is when, if this happens to me, usually I'll just go ahead and turn off the solo queue for the day. And then, you know, maybe go play something else or go outside. But Mystic doesn't have that option. As we're listening in, he doesn't say much.
나 이가 없어. 끝이야, 끝.
Okay.
He said he doesn't have
didn't want to go for it?
Or, yeah, maybe BDD was saying I don't have a way to get in. But either way, they got the job done. They killed Mystic and going from there. So now he's 3-0 on top of the Fed Lilia, Fed. And yeah, Gen G about 5,000 gold ahead now as we are nearing that 15-minute mark that we were meaning before.
Oh dear. Holding on to that 100% win lead at 15 minutes so far in this series.
In gold right now.
Oh my god, it's only 14 minutes!
It's a full item, basically. Oh man. Well, he's died so many times that he just hasn't even been around to get CS or to get levels or anything. I mean, he's level 8. Level 9 of Ruler, he's only at 116 CS, which I'd even say is somewhat impressive given the way the game has gone, right? Like, I could imagine.
Yeah, when you spend 50% of it in the death chamber, you can imagine that it's hard to find creeps in there. As Rascal going to stun up Keen, looks for the double hop out, but the slice and the dice, and cleared. He picks up an assist, but I don't know whether he deserves